Finally, we are going to discuss about functions in Solidity. We have learned all the data types so that we can use them inside the functions. So let's define our first function. So we can use the function keyword to define it. And let's give the function name, let's say add. And let's receive the arguments inside this function. Let's say the argument type is int and the name is a. And then there is one more argument int. And let's say the name is b. And the next, we have to define the visibility for our function. So let's say our function visibility is public, which means this function can be accessed anywhere inside this contract or even outside of this contract. And then we have behavior type in Solidity. So we have three of them: view, pure, and payable. So let's discuss about pure first. So pure is when we do not want to use any state variable inside the function. So we will mark that function with pure. And the next is returns. So what value type are we returning from this function? So define it with the returns and the return type. So in our case, it is int, since we are receiving the two values to add. So obviously our return type is int. And then do return here, return a plus b and semicolon. And that's it. So let's deploy this contract. Let's pass our argument. Let's say 7, 5. And we have the return value 12. So perfect. This is working perfectly fine. So remember, pure when we are not using any state variables inside our function. And then we have the next type, view. So let's say we have variable uint pin code 1234. And now let's say we want to use this variable inside one more function. So let's say function pin c and mark it as public and set it to view, because this time we are going to use the state variable inside the function. So that means we cannot mark it as pure, because pure is only when we do not want to use the state variables at all. But in this case, we are using the state variable, but we are not modifying anything. So view means just read only, nothing else. And give the return type, returns. Return type is uint. And let's return the variable pin code from here. And that's it. You can see we don't have any error. But as soon as you change this to pure, this compiler will start shouting, because it will say that you are trying to use the state variable and you cannot have a type pure here for this function. So let's set it to view. Let's deploy this contract. And now you can access this variable. I hope you are clear with the pure and view now. Pure when we do not want to use any state variables inside our functions, not even to read. View is when we want to use the state variables inside the function, but we are not modifying anything. So that's when we will use view. We'll discuss about the payable in our subsequent videos, but right now we don't need to worry about that.